Hi, and welcome to Table Talks on Today with Paul. Today, as you can see, I've got some table decoration here. Got the Voyager class Megatron on the table that we had an unboxing for a little while back. And just so happen to have a Daisy BB gun here. Well, I think a lot of y'all out there grew up with this. And Daisy, as many of us know, just so happens to be widely known for BB guns. This happens to be a BB pellet, so there you go. You got the pellet insert there, rack that up. Either that or you got your old little slide window there for throwing some BBs in. You can go ahead and that there. And of course your good old classic pump, and then you're ready to rock and roll right there. So there you go. And so why do I got this on the table? Because I am very fortunate today to have a rare 80s toy put out by Daisy that come to find out only been actually produced between the years of 1986 and 1987. And you're about to see why. And I can't hardly believe myself, to tell you the truth. But they came out with this Model 59 soft air pistol. Now that's not to be confused necessarily with the airsoft pistols out there. This is it still uses its own little plastic BBs, but this ain't your ordinary to do. And as you can see out there, I've got the slide back empty chamber there. Maybe you can see in there or not, but take my word for it. And of course, no magazine. So ain't nobody getting shot here or nothing. And besides, you got the safety on there, safety off. We'll go ahead and put that safety back on there for y'all. This just so happens to be a very realistic, detailed replica of what I looked up to be a Smith & Wesson model, actually. And it's just so unique in the fact that, unlike your other airsoft guns out there, this soft air gun just so happened to use real looking style plastic bullets that actually end up ejecting with the slide going in its rear position. And as you can well imagine, I'm sure there's a lot of law enforcement out there and some parents that ended up having issues with this because of how realistic. Like I said, you don't even have the orange tip on there, and that's standard these days. Let alone the fact that, you see some of these metal details on here with this lever doesn't work, this slide release doesn't work, but the actual mag drop button does. And so it's neat. It's got different markings on there to make it look pretty realistic and all that. So with that being said, we got this magazine with the plastic bullets. So what are you going to do? You're going to have your little BBs, and you're just so going to happen to load a BB in the tip of one of the bullets. See? And then what happens is you've got this little pass-through hole in the back of the actual round, and what happens is it's like a double action trigger. The first pass on the trigger, you end up ejecting enough air through the spring-loaded system in here to pass the BB out like a regular airsoft gun. Now the second action on the trigger, once you've got the first portion of the pull done, the second pull actually puts the slide back in its rearward position and ejects the round from the gun, just like a real gun. So you can see how somebody get confused. Now this cheap plastic, mind you, this meant to have this, it's got this kind of gold color to it, but kind of meant to represent the brass that any of y'all out there be shooting at the range or whatnot know and love. It comes close enough to realistic, the fact that it even has a shell to eject. So that's pretty scary by today's standards, especially with all the mess that goes on out there in this weird, wild world. But this is a nice little relic from the past that I have the pleasure of talking about today. So appreciate you coming along for the journey. Now this was found at a garage sale, and I thank Tony Miller and for loaning this to us today. Thank you very much, appreciate that. Found in this case, and two gentlemen were doing a garage sale, And just so happened that neither one of them had claim to it. They said, no, I've never seen that before. And she finally asked them, they said, you know, how much would it be? Somebody's got to give me an answer here. It's neat. How about a quarter? Okay, well, how neat is that? So it came in this case. You can see it came with all the, you know, BBs and the shells and all that. And here you go, 1986 produced, ended in 1987. And this official Daisy pamphlet here, this nice manual. And it comes with a warranty on the back. The model 59 Soft Air. And that's, well, I guess for anybody who's really a connoisseur of these sorts of things, I did a quick look online. It's not to be confused with airsoft. It is soft air, very particularly. And so here we go. We got your instructions there on the inside of this manual. We'll go ahead and leave that there for anybody who wants to pause. And you can just see how wonderful these instruction manuals are. They do a very fine job of showing you what all to do and all that kind of good stuff. But like I said, in this weird, wild world, you can imagine where this really caused some issues. There's probably been some kids that got hurt just because of police response and that sort of thing. Even water pistols can be a bit scary at times. But we'll go ahead and show you the action here on this. It does got a little bit of heft to it, just a little bit of weight, just enough to let you know you're holding something. And I'll go ahead and pop this in here. You can see it's well, actually, let me go ahead and point out, this is an all metal magazine. That was a nice little touch on their part. And then actually, for that matter, you can kind of see how these load up, kind of like your standard magazine there. So there you go. It's like that. Go ahead and load it like that. But I don't know if you can see in there, but now you got that up in there. I will tell you this, it's not the most reliable feeding system, and so you try to maybe treat it a little gingerly, because now we got the bullet in play successfully in there, but it likes to flip around a little bit and all that. So I don't have any BBs loaded in any of these, so and no worries there, nobody's gonna get hurt. But we're gonna just show you this action here. And so as you can see, there's the first one, that would have been the BB. And then the second stage, there you go. And it pops out just like that. Now you're ready to push forward. Now that's the weird part about this slide, is you actually got to actuate forward to get the next round changing. And you can kind of see it jumping around in there. And I think we got it there. And we'll go ahead and give you a full smooth action on this. So, no, not so much. Actually, I did find this to be a problem. And so, as cool as this is, as neat as the concept is, I'm going to tell you, sometimes the actual round goes in there backwards. And so I found this nice little metal. Now, if you got an empty one, mind you, you could use a little hook. This is a little magnetic hook, and I kind of fish it out of there. And nice, go in there backwards, get stuck a little bit. Oh boy. All right, let's see if we can get this, guys. Ah, there we go. Now, we just threw that to the side. Now, looks like, okay, see, there you go. We got some issues there, guys, and we got some issues. There we go. So we got one in there now. You see how unreliable this is. And excuse me if I'm pointing in the wrong direction and all that, but we know this ain't got nothing in it. Let's see if we can get one in there nice and smooth though. Now I'll show you the full, there you go. And that's how it should be, and we're gonna go ahead and get that out of there. And safety check, and that's out of there, so there you go. Pretty neat little to do. Not the most reliable thing. I can see where it kind of has that gimmicky fun to it. You're gonna be just like the adults out there, be the action star in the movie, if you will. Be little kids watching Die Hard back in the day. Not that they should have been old enough to, some of them. I mean, I would have been only 4 years old when this was released. But pretty neat overall. And like I said, retail price these days, you look up online, this is a collector's item now. So my friend Tony, she really found quite the to-do. I mean, you never know where these things are gonna pop up. And like I said, I just had to make sure I get this on the channel because it's so neat. Right now it's about $170, $160 to $170 online, and that's used condition. So good luck finding one brand new condition for anywhere near cheap. And then of course, probably you're also gonna be looking at having trouble finding parts for it. And all that jazz. But for second cool factor, just another nostalgic throwback to the 80s, just to see the style that was in back then, what was acceptable based on today's standards. Just incredible, and really truly I'm very fortunate to have been able to put this on camera today. So very cool. Well, anyways, I want to thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing, and I hope to catch you next time. Peace.